Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis and quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Keiser. The Democrats in the U.S. had become extremely centralized and authoritarian. So it makes sense that in the age of Bitcoin, they would freak out and blow themselves up like they're doing. The Orange Pill Party will replace the DNC and RNC in the United States. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin hash rate drawdown hits bear market levels, but miners are not selling, as well as Mt. Gox creditors opt to hodl these Bitcoin payouts, according to the latest Reddit poll, as well as BlackRock sets their spot Ether ETF fee at 0.25% amid the rush of the S1 filings. We could get the green light as soon as this Monday, according to the top analysts. We'll also be discussing analysts forecasting a $223,000 Bitcoin price after Bitcoin's bullish momentum returns. That's right. Also, breaking news coming from Dennis Porter. He announced Trump to announce a USA Bitcoin strategic reserve in Nashville. And he says, P.S., this is not a joke. My sources are credible. That's right. President Trump says his experience with Bitcoin and crypto has been eye-opening, quoting Trump here. I don't want to be responsible for another country taking over this fear. Preach. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. Welcome everyone just joining us. If you're new to the channel, important to smash those likes, go ahead and subscribe, then hit that bell icon and turn on all notifications to receive daily, premium, crypto news alerts every day. Just like this. Today is pod episode number 1704. I'm your host, JV. It is July 18th, 2024. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Pulling up Coin 360 here. You should be able to see it on your screen any second. There we go. So yeah, we have Bitcoin currently above 63,500, down 1.5% on the day. We have Ether above 3,400, down 0.3% on the day. XRP, big correction after a big massive pump in the past few days. But the entire market has been pumping since the failed assassination attempt on Trump, and we finally just corrected. We tapped a bottom of 53.5, so we're ultimately 10,000, which is a god candle above the local low. And checking out coinmarketcap.com to check out the latest here. You can see the market cap sitting at $2.33 trillion. We have the Bitcoin market cap sitting at $1.25 trillion. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past 24 hours. Mano leading the pack, up 9%, followed by WIF up 7%, followed by Rune up 4%. Below that, BGB, Jupe, and Tau. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for the bull run? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles to get a visual perspective. We'll start on the daily. Safe to say 90% of the market back in the red. And zooming out on the monthly, we flipped that. Maybe 85% of the market in the green with some respectable gainers, as you can see on your screen. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index. Today is a 61 in greed. Yesterday was a 69. Last week a 29 in fear. And last month a 74 in greed. So there you go, yo. We still got a couple of weeks left for this month. We also have a big conference coming up. There's going to be over 20,000 people there, including Trump. But let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis. Check out the charts where the price action is likely to go next. I'll also be pulling up some of the live charts, which is always fun to do, family. So yeah, this headline reads, Bitcoin RSI, Relative Strength Index, points to more Bitcoin price upside as the $65,000 battle continues to rage like Rage Against the Machine. You feel me? Here you're looking at the one-day chart. Bitcoin continued its flight to reclaim 65 G's, baby, on July 18th as the level became a key line in the sand for analysts. Let's go. That's right. TradingView showed consolidatory Bitcoin price action, characterizing the Asia trading session at the Wall Street Open, reaching 66,000 the day prior. Bitcoin returned to test the mettle of its recent gains as the short-term hodler realized price came into play. This bull market trend line just above 64 G's as of July 18th had previously been lost as support for the first time in nearly a year. Quoting trader Rec Capital, Bitcoin is not quite ready just yet for a successful retest of the 65 level as new support. Bitcoin will need a similar retest like in the not so distant past, as you can see here in the blue circles, to confirm a break back into the 65,000 to 71,500 region. And a further post warned that Bitcoin risks rejection if 65 area remains undefeated on the daily time frames. We also have Scott Melker, who shared the following: bearish divergence canceled. Nice. We now have confirmed hidden bullish divergence, which in this graph you can see in the blue, which is a continuation signal. And employing the Elliott wave analysis, crypto trader X-Force Global saw reason for confidence in the upside continuation following the consolidatory phase, quoting him here. Overall, we're looking for the continuation of the bullish trend if the buy pressure continues to at least the finish of the first wave of the intermediate degree in orange to gain more confidence that we're finally going to break the all-time high, going into the conclusion of a primary wave 5 of the highest degree. And we all know Elliott wave theory is in 5 different waves. Now, bullish Bitcoin price signals continue to flow according to Trading Suite, Decent Trader. The latest print from the Predator on 3-day time frames produced the first green bullish signal since early February, the start of the Bitcoin run-up of the bull to all-time highs of 73.8, which is the current all-time high, which we need to recapture to enter price discovery. The indicator uses a basket of inputs to generate green and red signals across multiple platforms. So there you have it. And quoting the high priest Bitcoin Max Keiser, the Democrats in the United States had become extremely centralized and authoritarian. So it makes sense that in the age of Bitcoin, they would freak out and blow themselves up like they are doing. The Orange Pill Party will replace the DNC, ultimately the Democratic Party, as well as the RNC, the Republican Party. Orange Pill, anyone? Let me know if you've been down that rabbit hole. I'm sure all of you have. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but nonetheless, I digress. Shout out to Max Keiser and Stacey Herbert. Now let's pull up some of the live chart action, Jackson. We'll start with the 1 month, and then we'll zoom in from here, family. This is always fun to check out. So yeah, let's pull this up. Bada boom, bada bing. You should be able to see on your screen, we're currently hovering above 63,500. This is live and in the flesh. This is the 1 month chart brought to you by TradingView via Coinbase. And as you can see, we had 7 consecutive green candles followed by itty bitty red, itty bitty green. And let's see how we finish the month of July. But obviously, we've been pretty bullish for the past year, safe to say. And I think we're going to continue with our bullish momentum post-halving here. But let's zoom in a little. Let's check out the 1 week chart. Live and in the flesh, we do got a bullish flag formation breakout. We do have a target at roughly 92,000, and we also have a mega bullish target, cup and handle, sitting at $126,267. Let me know if you'd like to see the Bitcoin price at 126 G's, baby. And let's continue to zoom in some. That was the 1 week chart. Now let's look at the 1 day. 1 day chart looking bullish as well. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green consecutive candles. Again, since the failed assassination attempt on Trump, we have been pumping big bullish candles, and we finally just started getting some corrective candles, as you can see on the 1 day chart right there. Now let's zoom into the 4 hour, then we'll check out the 1 hour. The 4 hour chart looking bullish as well. We do have a bullish flag formation. We do have a couple of targets, one sitting at roughly 68,500 and a bullish target for a bullish flag sitting just shy of $75,000, which would take us to price discovery mode. Let's go. And let's now check out the 1 hour. Una hora. Here you go. The 1 hour chart. You can see a little sideways action, Jackson, right now, a little corrective, momentum, but nonetheless, we're still hovering above 63.5, so it's all good in the Bitcoin hood, if you feel what I'm saying. But anyways, fam, there's your TA for the day. Let me know where you feel the price action will likely go for this month of July. Now let's discuss the latest with the hash rate and the Bitcoin miners. This headline reads, Bitcoin hash rate drawdown hits bear market levels, but the miners are not selling. Smart. Now, at the beginning of July, the Bitcoin network hash rate drawdown, the metric of relative changes in the network's overall computing power, sank to levels not seen since the December 2022 bear market, suggesting that some Bitcoin miners are starting to capitulate. Back in April, Bitcoin successfully underwent its 4th halving event at block height 840,000, which we ushered in live here on the channel. We had a Bitcoin halving watch party. How many of you were on it? Let me know. It was pretty lit. Cutting the reward miners receive per block found in half to 3.125 BTC, essentially having their largest source of revenue. Miners receive rewards along with transaction fees when they find a new Bitcoin block, but data shows fees only account for less than 10% of revenues. And adding to that, the Bitcoin price recently dropped below the 60,000 mark as selling pressure from the German authorities grew. The rehabilitation trustee for the defunct crypto exchange, Mt. Gox, started repaying creditors in both Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. It has since recovered to around 65,000. Now, speaking to Cointelegraph, founder and CEO of crypto exchange CEX.io pointed out that these stats and the fact that the trend-like runes and ordinals have cooled significantly since their introduction. In addition, said that on-chain activity on the Bitcoin network has been either stagnant or declining for the better part of the past 2 years, which to him could mean the hash is more centralized via the larger mining operations, who desire to avoid potential losses could lead to a greater network instability during uncertain conditions. He said the decline in unique active addresses could be a reflection of retail participants ceding ground to corporate entities, which are entering the space at a growing pace, thanks to the spot Bitcoin ETFs, which launched earlier in the year. It was January 11th, roughly 6 months out. Yet, despite all these bearish conditions, Marathon Digital Holdings, the world's largest Bitcoin mining firm, did not sell a single Bitcoin in June. I repeat, the largest Bitcoin mining firm did not sell a single Bitcoin in June. According to its operations report, it kept 18,536 coins untouched. And as mentioned, the Bitcoin hash rate drawdown has dropped to levels we hadn't seen since December of 2022. The last such decline happened after the collapse of FTX when the price of Bitcoin hit a $18,000 low. And a spokesperson for the Bitcoin mining pool operator via BTC said that while the hash rate dropped, its decline wasn't as substantial as the one seen during the bear market, and its impact on the network and the miners is relatively minor. A minor, that is, eh? They added that since the halving in April, the network's hash rate has consistently remained around 600 exahashes per second, far above the 250 exahashes per second seen in December of 2022, highlighting a notable improvement in the hash over time. Now, Brian Ruddick, senior strategist at crypto trading firm and liquidity provider GSR, said Bitcoin's hash rate dropped as mining profitability went down after the halving, adding that the hash price, a metric measuring the revenue potential of a unit of Bitcoin's hash rate, is now sitting at an all-time low, quoting him here. That said, it's not surprising that some public miners have continued to hodl, as public miners generally have a lower all-in cost per coin than a network as a whole, and as they shored up their balance sheets via debt repayment and at the money equity offerings prior to the halving. He emphasized that while public miners are adding hash rate to take on additional market share, the less efficient non-public miners are being forced to unplug unprofitable machines. And via BTC spokesperson also shared the hash rate price has indeed seen a significant decrease, according to via BTC's profit calculator. For example, in December of 2022, amid Bitcoin's price plunge at the height of the bear market, and considering mining difficulty and block rewards ahead of the halving, the daily revenue miners managed per terahash per second was about 0.05. I'm going to assume that means 5 cents. The spokesperson added that after the Bitcoin halving, when Bitcoin prices jumped along with a 140% increase of the hash rate, the daily revenue per terahash per second remained around 5 cents. The recent price drop saw the figure go down to 4 cents, a new low in the recent years. Now, could we be witnessing a miner death spiral? Well, we'll touch upon it. According to the analyst, he says a theoretical concept where the inverse relationship between miner rewards and energy requirements causes a network to collapse when incentives no longer cover the cost. In other words, it is the theory that if the miners start capitulating after a significant price drop of the rise of the hash rate, the network could crumble, quoting him here. In such a scenario, network fees would spike while throughput ground to a halt, resulting in frustration and inconvenience for transacting participants. However, it's important to note that such an event is yet to occur at a practical sense. And also quoting him here, in essence, mining is a long-term investment endeavor. Preach. When miners start, they commit substantial time, capital, and resources. Their strategies typically span extended periods rather than the short-term durations. So there you have it, yo. And we're going to stop that story there because it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. But anyways, hash rate is a good indicator we like to follow. The Bitcoin price tends to follow the hash rate. It's a lagging indicator, according to Max Kaiser. So as long as the hash rate is breaking out, hit new all-time highs, the price will follow. Let's not forget where we're at in this cycle, 4-year cyclical cycle. The Bitcoin network, I mean, we just had the halving on 419, virtually on 420. Happy 420 for the 420 fam. Next story of the day. Regarding Mt. Gox, the headline reads, Mt. Gox creditors opt to hodl. Where my hodl gang at? Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. Creditors of the hacked crypto exchange Mt. Gox are not rushing to sell their biddy payouts, at least according to the Reddit community vote. That's right. According to the recent poll on the Mt. Gox insolvency subreddit, most Mt. Gox creditors plan to retain their biddy payouts, which are set to receive soon, or have already received nearly 11 years after the Mt. Gox hack. Good Lord. Mt. Gox insolvency is the sub for those crypto investors affected by the 2014 collapse of Mt. Gox and participating in the official Mt. Gox insolvency process in Tokyo, Japan, throughout the Japanese court system. Now, approximately 20% of the creditors intend to sell all of their Bitcoin holdings. Let's discuss it. The Mt. Gox insolvency poll, which closed July 13th, indicates approximately 260 Mt. Gox creditors, representing 56% of the 467 poll participants, plan to hold on to their biddies after receiving their payouts. Such a decision aligns with the Bitcoiner strategy called hodl, meaning investors decide to hold onto their Bitcoin holdings through its various price fluctuations and volatility. That's right. It's one of the 10 Bitcoin commandments. Hodl be thy name. On the other hand, 88 responders, only roughly 20% of the poll members, indicated they would sell 100% of their Bitcoin payouts. And that's precisely what I predicted yesterday, quoting Samson Mount. Samson said I'd be surprised if even 20% of the people sold their Bitcoin because they're all hodlers, meaning 80% of them are going to hodl, diamond hands and laser eyes. Where are you at? And right in alignment with what the results of the poll share. Around 14% of the respondents said they would sell up to 25% of the Bitcoin payout, while only 6% of the respondents said they wanted to sell up to 50%. Now, the poll might show overall investor sentiment on the Mt. Gox insolvency subreddit, but still, it doesn't show the actual picture for many reasons, like discrepancies in payout amounts and only a fraction of the creditors participating in the vote. So keep that in mind. Take it with a grain of salt. This is all good fun, though, but doesn't mean anything, one Redditor wrote, adding that someone with one Bitcoin selling 25 to 50% is way different from someone selling 10,000 BTC selling 25%. Quoting him here, you cannot take the results of this survey and calculate the percentage of the Bitcoin that will be sold and be anywhere near accurate unless you get lucky. Now, Mt. Gox has already distributed 36% of the owed Bitcoin, so keep that in mind. Mt. Gox, once the world's largest Bitcoin exchange, handling approximately 70% of all Bitcoin transactions before the collapse. Founded back in 2010, Mt. Gox lost 850,000 BTC, 4% of all the issued Bitcoin in a security breach back in February 2014. And after more than 10 years since the hack, the Mt. Gox trustee managed to recover around 141,000 BTC to repay the creditors. However, many Bitcoin payouts have already been distributed to the creditors, and according to CryptoQuant, more than 36% of the owed BTC was distributed as of July 17th. So according to an official communication from the Mt. Gox Rehabilitation Trustee, over 13,000 creditors receive repayments in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash as of July 16th. So there's 94,457 BTC, which has been moved away from the addresses since the funds were consolidated May 30th, according to the Mt. Gox balance bot. So there you go, yo. Last week, the trustee sent a big chunk, but it turned out that most of it was sent to a change address, meaning it was sent back to the trustee. So I needed to add that change address too. I did not yet have time to check the movements, but I might need to adjust the bot again, he noted, referring to the most recent transactions on a Kraken. But there you have it. I wouldn't be so alarmed. We've been hearing the FUD every single year. Mt. Gox repayment distribution. Markets are going to crash every year. Mt. Gox repayment distribution. Markets are going to crash. 11 years later, here we are, family. Markets are looking pretty good, especially post-halving. So you already know. Let's continue, yo. Next story of the day. The Ethereum ETF, rumor has it, it can get the green light this Monday or Tuesday. Only a few days out. This is also mega bullish for the crypto market. So let's break down the latest because BlackRock has officially announced their fees. That's right. Headline reads, BlackRock set spot Ether ETF fee at 0.25% amid the rush of the S1 filings. That's right. Asset management firm BlackRock, the largest, has set the fee for its spot Ethereum ETF at 0.25% ahead of the potential launch next week. BlackRock's S1 registration statement, filed on July 17th, yesterday, explains its fee will be accrued daily at an annualized rate equal to 0.25% of the fund's net value asset and is payable at least every 3 months in US dollars, and kind of a combination of both. It said it could waive all or a portion of the fee for certain periods, adding that it plans to do this upon launch. Similar to the iShares Bitcoin Trust launch, BlackRock Spot Ether ETF will start trading at a 0.12% fee until 12 months pass, or after it amasses $2.5 billion in net assets, whichever comes first. Others also indicated their proposed fees and waiver periods amid the flooded of S1 registration forms. Franklin Templeton issued a spot Ether ETF and says will charge the lowest fee, 0.19%, while Bitwise and VanEck Ethereum ETF assets are at set to 0.2%, virtually the same thing. It's like, Jesus. The 21 shares core Ethereum ETFs is set at 0.21%, while Fidelity and Invesco will offer the same quarter of a percent fee as BlackRock's. This is official. This is coming directly from James Seyfarth, clearly insider over at Bloomberg, top ETF expert. So I trust anything he is sharing. He's been dead on accurate. Him and James Seyfarth and Eric Balchunas when it comes to the ETFs. Now, Bitwise, Fidelity, and Franklin Templeton 21 shares and VanEck have proposed to completely slash their fees initially. VanEck's fee will be waived for the first 12 months or after it amasses $1.5 billion in assets, whichever comes first. We call this game theory, means there's competition. Many of them being approved at the same time is a great thing. It lowers the fees. Bitwise will waive its fee for the first 6 months or first $500 million in net assets, while Franklin set a January 31st, 2025 or $10 billion threshold. Fidelity will waive fees until January 1st, 2025, when the fees will increase 0.25% thereafter. Meanwhile, Grayscale is leaving its spot Ether ETF fee the highest at 2.5%. However, it is now approved Grayscale's Ethereum mini trust will offer a much more competitive fee of 0.25%. Grayscale said 10% of Grayscale spot Ether ETF will establish its Ethereum mini trust, providing $1 billion in seed funding. Reports state that at least 3 ETF issuers, namely BlackRock, Franklin, and VanEck, have already received preliminary approval from the U.S. SEC. Gary Gensler, where you at, no Claire Gare? Bloomberg ETF analyst Balchunas expects the S1s will be signed off next Monday after trading hours, allowing the spot Ether ETF to officially start trading on Tuesday, July 23rd. So mark this in your calendar, July 23rd. This Tuesday, most likely the green lights. Now, Bitwise Chief Investment Officer Matt Hougan speculated the spot Ether ETFs can attract up to $15 billion in inflows in the first 18 months of trading, roughly the same amount that the spot ETFs for Bitcoin mustered since launching roughly 6 months ago. And if approved, the spot Ether ETFs would be listed on the NASDAQ, as well as the New York Stock Exchange, as well as the CME. Let's freaking go. Let me know, yo. Are you bullish on this? This Ethereum ETF? Do you think this will be a big deal? Do you think it'll pump the markets? Holla at your boy. Let's get it. But anyways, fam, next story of the day. Let's discuss the $223,000 target, according to this analyst. Then breaking news with Trump adopting Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset and making the announcement in Nashville for the United States of America. Big news. Breaking news. Dennis Porter dropped the bomb, so we're going to be covering all this. Stick around. But first, let's discuss some bullish targets, Analysts forecast 223,000 Bitcoin price after the Bitcoin bullish momentum returns. That's right. It's like Return of the Dragon in this beast. Bitcoin could be headed to 220,000 after reclaiming key support levels during the current market recovery. This price target is based on historical Bitcoin miner capitulation patterns as observed by multiple crypto traders. That's right. The end of the mini capitulation periods following Bitcoin halvings has historically preceded significant increases in the Bitcoin price in the subsequent months and years, according to synonymous crypto analyst Cryptonary, who wrote on a July 17th post when Bitcoin was hovering just below 65,000. The analyst shared that the hash ribbons chart showed minor capitulation periods and their characteristics. The chart revealed that the end of the minor capitulation in previous Bitcoin halving cycles has been followed by massive increases of the Bitcoin price, 5,110%, 3,346%, and 591% increases post-minor capitulation during the 2012, 2016, and 2020 cycles, respectively, quoting him here. Assuming the current minor capitulation periods end soon, and using today's price of 64,700, an exponential decay model suggests a potential price peak of 223,000 for this cycle, based on historical post-halving periods. And they say, if history doesn't repeat, It oftentimes rhymes. Now, TradingView shows Bitcoin price trading roughly 65 Gs. Macau Van Day Pop shared the following. He says, if Bitcoin moves to and holds above 65,000, backed by consistent institutional inflow, it can climb to $100,000 per coin, as he shares in this tweet. He says only a matter of time before we see Bitcoin hit 100 Gs, baby. Can't wait. Now, meanwhile, the analyst CryptoCon said that Bitcoin's price keeps pointing back to the second cycle. The analyst shared the following chart showing the Bitcoin price multiple retests of the resistance from 2021, the all-time high, which just happened in 2017. After that, Bitcoin will likely flip the previous all-time high into support before the most important cycle, price action. This means if the Bitcoin price moves higher from the current price to reclaim the 2021 all-time high of 69,000, it is likely to enter a parabolic uptrend into price discovery. Quoting him here, I don't know about you, but I'd hate to miss out on that price action between here and the MVRVZ cycle. Top zone is outlined here in the chart. Now, the analyst, also Nebraskan Gunner, believes the sharp rise indicator is a good sign for the strong trend continuation. And I also wanted to share with you this actual tweet from Cryptonary. Historically, the end of the minor capitulation periods following Bitcoin halvings has led to significant price increases for Bitcoin into subsequent months and years. The hash ribbon metrics suggest that the Bitcoin bottoms out when the miners capitulate due to the high mining costs and the lower revenues, identifying various minor capitulation periods and their characteristics. For example, in the previous cycles, the 2012 cycle saw a 5,110% increase post-minor capitulation. The 2016 cycle saw a 3,346% increase, and the 2020 cycle saw a 591% increase. And assuming the current minor capitulation period ends soon, using today's price of 64.7, an exponential decay model suggests a potential price peak of $223,000 per biddy this cycle based on historical post-halving periods. While a 223,000 peak seems optimistic, it is a noteworthy model, as outlined right here, family, in the chart. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. 223 Gs, baby. Without further ado, let's dive into our feature story of the day. Trump could announce Bitcoin as a U.S. strategic reserve asset in Nashville next week on July 27th. That's right. This is the headline from an article published by Bitcoin Magazine, and the story was actually broken by Dennis Porter. So let's start with where the news originated from, right here. Shout out Dennis Porter, by the way. He wrote, huge breaking. Trump to announce a USA Bitcoin strategic reserve in Nashville, America. And then he says, P.S. This is not a joke. My sources are credible. Much respect to Dennis Porter. He is the real deal. He has been covering Bitcoin for quite some time. I've been following him for a very long time. And he's the real deal, especially when it comes to Bitcoin adoption with countries and states. He has been on the front line for a very long time. So I respect what he is sharing here, and I believe he does genuinely have some good sources. Now, he also recently tweeted, this is a tweet from Bitcoin Magazine. President Trump says his experience with Bitcoin and crypto has been eye-opening. Quoting Trump, I don't want to be responsible for another country taking over this fear. He knows that China is getting involved with Bitcoin, and he doesn't want China to take over. He sees the writing on the wall. Trump also, 10 days before the failed assassination attempt, he fully embraced Bitcoin. He said he would protect our right to self-custody. You know, he said to the 50 million Americans in Bitcoin, I will fight for your right to self-custody. You know what I mean? He also said he would fight against central bank digital currencies, we know as CBDCs. He also promised us his first day on the job after being reelected, he would pardon Ross Albright. If you'd like to see Ross Albright pardoned, let me know in the comments. Back to Dennis Porter's tweets. Adding Bitcoin as a strategic reserve to the U.S. Treasury is a no-brainer. And once the USA does it, the paradigm will shift and the world will understand they must also have a Bitcoin position. And this is precisely what Max Kaiser has been speaking about as well. He believes Trump is going to make some form of announcement. I've been covering as well here in the pod. Dennis also wrote, Bitcoin is a strategic asset. The world is beginning to realize it. Now the USA has a shot to lead the globe. Don't blink. You will miss history. Very powerful words. He also shared, the next president of the USA should sign an executive order to convert the $5.5 billion held by the U.S. government into a strategic reserve at the U.S. Treasury and then use that reserve to back the dollar with Bitcoin. And what did Max Kaiser share that I covered on the podcast the other day? Precisely that Trump has some sort of strategy to back Bitcoin with the U.S. Treasury. Pretty amazing. Hey, another source to confirm. Interesting, isn't it? But back to this article that Trump could announce Bitcoin as a U.S. strategic reserve asset in Nashville, July 27th, published by Bitcoin Magazine. Let's break it down. So yeah, the conference is around the corner. Trump is set to make the highly anticipated appearance as a keynote speaker, and he did recently confirm, even after the failed assassination attempt, that he was still going to be there. So more than likely, he'll be speaking on July 27th on the final day. This has created a buzz of excitement, to say the least, amongst crypto investors, as rumors suggest that Trump may deliver a significant announcement during his speech. Can't wait. All eyes on Trump right now, family. According to Dennis Porter, the co-founder of the nonprofit organization Satoshi Act, Trump intends to unveil Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset for the United States. Could you imagine the implications of this and what it would do to Bitcoin and the market and the rest of the world? Major. We can all speculate, right? Let me know in the comments. Convinced of this fact, Porter claimed, this is no joke, my sources are credible, and he added that Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset for the U.S. Treasury. It's a no-brainer. The paradigm will shift the world. It will understand they must also have a Bitcoin position or forever be left behind. However, the report is yet to be confirmed by Trump, his staff, or any external sources, so do keep that in mind. Therefore, and until such confirmation is presented, Porter's claims must be taken with a grain of salt and considered speculation. And as reported by Bitcoinists, Bitcoin-friendly political leaders have long advocated for considering Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. One of them is Vivek Ramaswamy, who's also going to be speaking at the same conference as Trump. And a former presidential candidate has been advising Trump on Bitcoin and digital assets since January. And that's the word on the street. Vivek's been whispering in Trump's ear regarding Bitcoin and crypto adoption and how important it is and all that good stuff. Ramaswamy proposed backing the U.S. dollar with a basket of commodities, including the biddy, to combat inflation and maintain the currency's value over time. On the other hand, David Bailey, CEO of Bitcoin Mag and an advisor to Trump's campaign, has explored the theoretical impacts of the United States adopting Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. Bailey's vision involves securing a significant Bitcoin reserve for the U.S. Treasury by time locking the 210,000 BTC held by the USA for 100 years. It's going up forever, Melda. And adding to the speculation surrounding the increased pro-Bitcoin and crypto measures, Trump recently announced that Senator J.D. Vance, a notable proponent of cryptos, will join his ticket as the vice presidential candidate for the 2024 election. And you already know J.D. Vance despises Gary Gensler, so I love J.D. Vance that much more. Can I get a fire GG, fire Gary Gensler, hashtag fire Gary Gensler in that live chat, family? Let me know. And what are your thoughts? And I'm going to read you one more tweet from Max. The Democrats in the U.S. have been extremely centralized and authoritarian, so it makes sense that in the age of Bitcoin, they would freak out and blow themselves up like they are doing. The Orange Pill Party will replace the DNC and the RNC in the United States of America. So there you have it, yo. Let me know if you agree or disagree that Trump will make the announcement. In fact, there's a live poll up in the chat right now. I want to know, yay, nay, I doubt it, not sure. Let me know.